Tonight, moving ahead with Lansdowne 2.0.
It's going to cost a fortune.
Construction on the next phase of the area's redevelopment set to begin in the coming days. Getting their hands on some game-worn gear.
It's pretty cool to have access to, all the game-worn merchandise and be in the locker room. Not something you see every day.
Fans flock to the Ottawa Redblacks annual locker room sale. And bidding farewell to November and hello to the holiday shopping season.
We like the artisan. They're from all over the place, local, indigenous, and it's really nice to discover their work.
We take you to some of the most popular Christmas markets now in full swing here in the capital. Good evening and thank you for joining us. It is a major, costly project and the construction on Lansdowne 2.0 is set to begin this week. The controversial plan comes with a multi-million-dollar price tag, and CTV's Natalie Van Roy joins us live in studio with the very latest and reaction. Natalie.
Austin, construction could start as soon as tomorrow, and while not everyone is happy about it, in large part because of the cost, with the project carrying a price tag of over $400 million, others are optimistic about the future of the area.
Lindsay Carter has lived in this area for 20 years. She's not thrilled about Lansdowne 2.0.
We're thinking of actually moving out of the area because of everything.
Carter is worried about the cost and traffic.
It's going to cost a fortune, and, if it doesn't work out, we're on the hook. And we live on 5th Avenue. The traffic, we can hardly back out of our driveway on a Saturday now. I can't even imagine what it's going to be when there are those, that many more apartment buildings.
The city says construction starts this week on the multi-million-dollar project, with the first phase of the project focusing on the new event center. Preliminary works will begin with the installation of fencing, followed by site trailer installation and exploratory works in December.
We just have to figure out how do we get through the initial process of relocating the farmers markets, and how do we keep ensuring that people are still coming.
Well, hopefully that they keep up with the infrastructure, then that would be great. And if the train comes, that would be superb too.
I love it. I'm going to miss the old rink, but this new rink is definitely time for it. I'm going to shed some tears when the old rink closes.
Lansdowne 2.0 includes a new event center built to replace TD Place Arena, new north side stands for TD Place Stadium, and 2 residential towers with 770 units for condos.
I think it's going to be great for everyone. The big change that's coming, it'll bring a lot more people down here.
I don't mind it, other than it would be nice to have a place for the Charge to play.
Construction of the new event center is slated to be completed by 2028, with work on the north side stands scheduled to be done by 2030.
I wish they would put more money into OC Transport or something, fix that first, or fix other issues that are more important.
The city says there are no planned detours or road closures for the first phase of construction, and access to the underground parking garage will continue. Austin.
CTV's Natalie Van Roy reporting live for us tonight. Thanks, Natalie. Firefighters northeast of Ottawa sprang into action overnight after a major fire at an apartment building. Officials from the United Counties of Prescott and Russell say the fire started just before midnight and it burned into the early morning on Portlands Avenue in Hawkesbury. That's about 110 kilometers from downtown Ottawa. Here's a look at the damage that was left behind. Some residents were affected by smoke, but so far no serious injuries have been reported, and all are now safe. In total, 30 units were impacted, and tenants are now receiving assistance, including help from the Red Cross, as they are forced to relocate. It's not exactly clear what started the fire, but Ontario Provincial Police say it is considered suspicious, and they are investigating it as an arson. A stretch of Highway 174 was closed this afternoon after a vehicle left the road and crashed into a ditch. Police say this happened on a stretch of the 174, which was closed in both directions near Montreal Road. The car went into the ditch around the 3100 block of Regional Road 174. Paramedics say one man in his 40s was taken to hospital with neck and back injuries. And here is a live look at the roads tonight. Ottawa police have responded so far to at least 23 collisions. That was as of 4 o'clock today. Of course, the snow on the ground and the roads looking relatively clear from what we can tell. Unfortunately, some of the cameras are out. The traffic concerns obviously added to the fact that 3 westbound lanes of Highway 417 remain closed between the Vanier Parkway and Nicholas Street as crews work on a damaged water main valve. They expect closures to remain in place until early tomorrow morning. Take our first look at the weather forecast. Environment Canada says 5 centimeters of snow has fallen at the Ottawa airport as of 4:30 this afternoon. Of course, that is not the same story for everywhere in the region. A lot of areas have experienced more snow, about 10 centimeters so far in Gatineau as of 4:30. And we do expect tonight's low to drop to -6 degrees. The snow expected to taper off here in Ottawa, but in Kittigan-Zibi you can see large flurries and a low of -11 in Bancroft as well. So quite cool in some parts of our area. Same goes for Maniwaki, Tremblant. The snow continuing to fall pretty consistently there. Warming up tomorrow, but not by much. -5 is the high tomorrow, and a break from the snow right across the region. -2 in Trenton and Kingston for tomorrow's high. -4 in Montreal, mostly sunny conditions, and -5 is your high in Gatineau. Well, the Ottawa Redblacks opened up their locker room to the public today for their annual end-of-the-season sale. It's a chance for fans to get their hands on some game-worn equipment and some unique merchandise. CTV's Josh Morano joins us now with a look at the fans that were rushing to grab some of those items. Josh.
Yeah, Austin, thousands of pieces of equipment get cleared out every off-season, but only one day is open to the public. And with a new head coach and roster changes coming, fans told us this year's sale felt almost like a reset.
Look at it, we're going in now. Gord Lewis arrived at TD Place early to make sure he got first pick of his favorite Redblacks merchandise during the team's end-of-season sale.
What else are you going to do later today? Come on, have some fun. You know, meet some of the fans, meet some of the, the players, and I'm looking forward to it.
For Lewis, a longtime season ticket holder, it's his first year attending the sale.
I have no idea what to expect. I don't care. I'm open-minded. I'm just looking forward to a great day.
But for hundreds of others, it's become a yearly tradition.
It's so fun to see the Redblacks down here. Like all this gear that we can buy, and it's so fun.
Inside the locker room, team apparel stacked on tables and game-worn equipment for fans to purchase.
Looking for maybe some couple of deals, but it's not nothing in mind today.
Myself, just browsing. It's kids want helmets and jerseys and stuff.
Even a chance to interact with some of the players.
It's cool to see everyone kind of come into our house and really get to experience the locker room. And of course, it's cool to just chat with people and kind of get their feeling on the season and whatever it is they want to talk about.
It really shows that we got a lot of tradition out here, and people really love to come out here and support us.
It's the one time a year where the fans can come on in and be right in the change room and meet some of the players and obviously get access to some of the game-worn stuff. So it's a cool day.
As well as a first look at new head coach Ryan Dinwiddie.
They're supportive of us. Obviously, they're disappointed with how last year was, as well as we are. But I also think they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to turn this thing around.
For Lewis, crossing items off his wish list with high expectations for the team next season.
I'm optimistic. We're going to recover from this, and we're going to do well. I'm not saying Grey Cup, but anything's possible.
So even after a disappointing season, fans told me they're happy to come out and support the team and even get some of their Christmas shopping out of the way. Austin.
Yeah, that's one heck of a Christmas gift right there. Josh, thank you very much for this. CTV's Josh Morano reporting live for us tonight. Ottawa Charge head coach and two-time Olympic gold medalist Carla MacLeod has been diagnosed with breast cancer. MacLeod shared the news in a statement today saying, quote, "I want everyone to know that I'm going to be okay. I'm incredibly fortunate to have an exceptional medical team guiding me, and together we've built a treatment plan that gives me tremendous confidence in the road ahead." She adds her goal is to be behind the bench as often as possible. Well, cold and flu season has arrived in Canada, and a lot of sickness is now quickly spreading across many parts of the country. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has more on the dreaded viruses that are impacting Canadians.
It's cold and flu season, which is why Chris Butler recently decided to be proactive and get her shots before the winter weather sets in.
I am safe, but I'm still doing the wash my hands and that kind of thing. And I don't like to go to any event if it's really crowded.
New data from Health Canada shows flu cases jumped to more than 2,100 last week, up from close to 1,400 the previous week. The population most affected by the flu are people 65 and older. That's why Bill Van Gorder is urging his fellow seniors to wear a mask and be up to date with vaccinations.
Your flu shot, your COVID shot, your RSV shot. Remember, if you get one of those other respiratory diseases, the chances of you also picking up the flu are very strong.
Some children's hospitals across the country have implemented mask mandates and have added extra healthcare staff, expecting an influx of flu patients this season. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Lisa Barrett says there are concerns this year's flu vaccine is not a perfect match for the strains spreading in Canada.
It still does prevent hospitalizations and ICU admissions in many people. And also, there are other strains that are well matched still, that might not be as common, but are still floating around. And this vaccine will still protect you against those.
According to Dr. Barrett, there are also fears this version of the flu virus could bring a lot of sickness.
We do know from the rest of the world that we're starting to see influenza go up, and it's been a crappy influenza season in other parts of the world, so likely it's going to be a tough one here too.
Dr. Lisa Barrett says sometimes people think they have a cold when actually it's the flu, which can lead to severe symptoms and sometimes other complications. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
Turning now to a sad update to a story that we brought you on Wednesday. The eagle that was rescued by an Ottawa Valley woman and her young son has been euthanized. Animal rescue organization Safe Wings says the difficult decision was made after noticing the bird suffered irreparable damage to his femur. The organization says amputation was not a possibility, nor was keeping the eagle alive in captivity. Well, leaders from across Canada gathered here in the nation's capital last night to attend the Parliamentary Press Gallery dinner. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre starting things off.
I promise to keep this short, roughly the length of Champagne's prologue to his budget speech. I was right there. I wanted to take the pages from him. I wasn't quite sure on parliamentary privilege. If we didn't say it, was it really real? Did it happen?
I've been told since the election that I need to gain those extra few percentage points by being more lovable and human. So naturally, I've commissioned a poll on how to do that. And the preliminary results are in. Option A, I can get a dog. Or option B, and I'm quoting the pollster here, I can find more meaningful ways to connect with people on a personal level and make emotional connections with Canadians. So I immediately called the pollster and said, what kind of dog?
Speeches were also given by Bloc Québécois leader Yves-François Blanchet and NDP leader Don Davies at the gallery dinner.
Good evening, Canada! Sorry to crash your party.
My name is Don Davies, and my pronouns are broke and irrelevant.
The Parliamentary Press Gallery is entering its 159th year since it first started. Well, as we bid November farewell and ring in December, it is official. We are right in the thick of Christmas market season as people work away on their holiday shopping lists. And CTV's Camille Wilson checked out some of the most popular markets in the city today. Camille.
Austin, 'tis the season for Christmas markets and buying locally. The markets I visited today filled with handcrafted creations, holiday decorations, food, jewelry, fashion, accessories, you name it. No better way to kick off the season than to visit a local Christmas market. Christmas markets are the perfect place to find unique items.
It's a magic. It's like a Hallmark movie, the whole time you're there. And I'm a fan of Hallmark movies, so I just feel the same vibe.
Julie Desmarais says she used to do her holiday shopping online and in store, but now Christmas markets are a new love.
We did this last year. We were going around Christmas market, and there's some that we haven't done, some we're rediscovering. We like the artisan. They're from all over the place, local, indigenous, and it's really nice to discover their work.
Lots of unique finds at the annual Canadian Museum of History's Christmas market, with more than 100 local vendors and artists showcasing their work.
A large variety of vendors offering all kinds of crafts, from jewelry to skincare products, fashion. There's some food as well, so there's really stuff for everybody.
And sometimes you just need another opinion.
Called Mom, did a FaceTime, and I really enjoyed it. I really like the look, so I might end up buying it.
Over at the 613 market at Carleton University, Ted Zeb is checking off his list.
I'm looking for stocking stuffers, and I came across my favorite sock man to buy socks for my daughter, my ex-wife, and my business partner.
200 vendors and artisans selling vintage items, food, crocheted pieces, records, and more.
We bring in a lot of one-of-a-kind things at this time of year. It absolutely is local. So it's like 95% are Ottawa-based, and people love to support local.
For Desmarais, she will shop now and worry later.
I already bought way too much. We have other Christmas market plans for the rest of the month, so I think I will have to indulge and just see, look at the credit card later on. January, not December, not at all.
As Julie said, the Christmas markets feel like a Hallmark Christmas movie, getting you in the Christmas spirit and the perfect places to find gifts for loved ones to suit their personalities. Austin.
I love that too, not checking the credit card statement until January. I feel like a lot of people maybe thinking the same thing after the holidays. Camille, thank you very much for this.
Thanks.
My anxiety is about this oil tanker ban, which is the foundational social license piece for tens of billions of dollars of investment in BC.
Still to come, pipeline politics. BC Premier David Eby now says he's open to a new pipeline if the tanker ban stays in place. Before we go to break, there's a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. It is currently 0. There is continued fallout today from Donald Trump's directive on social media Saturday, saying everyone should consider the airspace around Venezuela closed.
Just the fact that the President of the United States said it's closed, airlines are going to probably avoid going down there because they don't want to get in the middle of a fight that is coming. And it's already started on the ocean, but now it looks like it's going to go into the air.
Trump's comments about the airspace drew a sharp rebuke from Venezuela, accusing the U.S. president of making colonial threats. The American administration claims it's pressuring the country to try to cut off the flow of migrants and drugs from South America. Both countries are preparing their militaries in case conflict breaks out. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has filed a request for an official pardon from the president's office, adding further uncertainty to his long-running corruption trial. Netanyahu is facing allegations of bribery, fraud, and a breach of trust, all charges that he has denied. The charges were first filed in 2019, and since then, Netanyahu has been battling court cases and uncertainty over his political future. He remains the only sitting prime minister in Israel's history to stand trial, which is yet to be concluded. Netanyahu says he wanted to complete the legal process until the end, but added that ending the trial immediately would bring national unity. And Pope Leo is in Lebanon today, meeting with Christian leaders in a country that's been at the heart of Israel's extended war in the Middle East. Speaking to reporters before departing to Lebanon, the Pope said the only solution to the conflict in the region is the creation of a Palestinian state. Lebanon consists of the largest share of Christians in the Middle East and is also home to some 1 million Palestinians and Syrian refugees. The leader of the Lebanese group Hezbollah has hailed the Pope's visit, saying he hopes it would bring an end to Israel's repeated airstrikes on parts of the country. A full-scale war between Hezbollah and Israel ended late last year, but Israel has since launched repeated airstrikes against the group. Police in California are investigating after 4 people were killed and 11 others injured in a shooting at a birthday party in Stockton, California.
You know, this is Thanksgiving weekend. This is when families come together, celebrate, share memories, give each other love. And unfortunately tonight, Heaven is a little bigger with the individuals, children and adults that unfortunately did not make it. Stockton is better than this.
Officials say the shooting occurred inside a banquet hall at around 6 p.m. yesterday evening, and the suspect fled the scene and remains at large. The victims who died ranged in age from 8 to 21. And the head of the UN's HIV and AIDS program is pushing for Canada to reverse its planned cuts to foreign aid.
Canadians now have to understand that this is quite a substantial moving away from the kind of liberal internationalism that wasn't just for reasons of altruism. It was because we thought the best way of providing security for Canada is to make sure that the rest of the world has more stability, more equality, ability to fight climate, to support health. These are all issues that I think we're now basically abandoning.
Officials say with rising inequality making it difficult for people to obtain the help they need, countries like Canada need to continue support for global health programs. This comes after Prime Minister Mark Carney previously announced cuts to Canada's funding for the Global Fund to fight AIDS. BC's Premier is not ruling out the plan to build a pipeline across his province after the federal government and Alberta came to an agreement that has had plenty of critics. But David Eby says a ban on oil tankers has to remain in place if there are to be discussions. With more on that, here's CTV's John Venevalley-Rao.
Just days ago, BC's Premier stepped up to a microphone and suggested the pipeline agreement he was left out of was never going to amount to anything.
No proponent, no route, no money, no First Nation support.
But on CTV's Question Period, David Eby now says he is open to discussing a pipeline project running through his province if there are no changes to the federal tanker ban.
If we can agree that the oil tanker ban is going to stay in place, then let's have those conversations. I think that would make life a lot better and easier in British Columbia in terms of our relationship with coastal First Nations, and we definitely take down the temperature.
Put in place 6 years ago, the ban prohibits larger tankers from docking at ports along BC's north coast if they're carrying lots of crude or certain types of oil. It's in place to protect some delicate ecosystems. Eby says an exemption would anger First Nations groups and put existing energy projects in jeopardy, and suggested another option, increasing capacity of the existing Trans Mountain pipeline.
Trying to find a path forward, trying to de-escalate tensions with our neighbors, trying to understand their concerns, what they would like to do, and I really hope they do the same for us.
The Memorandum of Understanding, signed this week with Alberta, has already cost the Prime Minister a cabinet minister and longtime environmentalist. And Alberta Premier Danielle Smith was booed by grassroots members when she said this at her party's annual general meeting.
I hope people today feel a lot more confident that Canada works than they did a couple of days ago.
As for BC's Premier, he had vehemently opposed a new bitumen pipeline, and some noting a change in tone.
Eby is not slamming the door. He's not having a fit. He wants some of the projects of his own that involve fossil fuels, especially liquefied natural gas, to go through. And he mentions tens of billions of dollars of current projects and tens of billions more.
Meanwhile, Eby has also said he'd like to explore things like boosting the country's capacity to refine petroleum as opposed to buying gas from the U.S. John Venevalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
And in Alberta, the provincial government is crafting legislation to define the standards of its homegrown whiskey. But what's inside the bill may be less surprising than who it is that's writing it. The province planning to use artificial intelligence to draft the legislation, a first in Canada. CTV's Kathy Lee has the details.
This right here is our Alberta Prairie style.
Each bottle carefully crafted with homegrown ingredients.
Honey is the raw material for that alcohol.
Jordan Ramey says the sweet notes gives one of the whiskeys in this Alberta distillery its unique flavor.
We're producing some of the world's highest quality whiskey, but we're not telling that story on an international level.
But perhaps in the future, as the government is creating the Alberta Whiskey Act to define what's legally Alberta whiskey, from the ingredients ingredients and character to the taste.
An act such as this really helps to explain and codify the standards for what this premium style product encompasses.
What's inside this act may be less surprising than who is writing it. The UCP will use artificial intelligence.
I'm not aware of a jurisdiction in Canada that has used AI to write legislation. We're not just going to have AI write it and then walk away. It's going to be human inputs, oversight.
Experts warn the guardrails are essential as AI can invent facts. And while the move is unprecedented in Canada, some American states have already tested AI in the lawmaking arena.
The world is moving at a pace that even government has to think about adaptation. I do anticipate that every province across Canada is looking at Alberta to see how this works and how they can apply AI in their own workflows.
Comes up through the helmet here.
Ramey has poured his insights into the act and is more than open to AI in the mix.
The best way to really look at what artificial intelligence is it's a collaborator and a partner.
A partner in a mission to build something else the province can be known for. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Spending time with the family. Enjoying the little moments.
After the break, we'll recap Santa's Parade of Lights in Orleans.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Start a little further down in the lineup, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a couple extra shifts high.
The Ottawa Senators, on the heels of a tough 4-3 loss to the St. Louis Blues, are in Dallas for a date with the Stars. This game started at 6 p.m. Here's a look just after puck drop. Those new jerseys in Dallas, and it's currently knotted at zeros, just a few minutes left in the first period. It's 5 degrees in Dallas, Texas as well, so not nearly as warm as I thought it might have been there. Obviously colder here, getting down to -6 tonight. According to Environment Canada, flurries are expected to end right around midnight, and cloudy, about a 40% chance of snow over into the evening hours, and wind gusts of up to 50 kilometers an hour. But some pups are loving this snow. A lot of dogs soaking it all up, rolling in the snow and playing with their humans. Apparently we got about 5 centimeters of snow at the Ottawa airport, according to Environment Canada, about 10 centimeters over in Gatineau. Here's a look at the satellite radar that shows the majority of that weather system has passed over us for now. We're going to take a look at the East Coast, -1 in St. John's, 1 degree in Charlottetown, 1 in Halifax. They have some snow on the way in Halifax as well. We're currently sitting at 1 degree, so it's warmed up just slightly since the last time we spoke. Weather, 0 in Windsor with some snow there. Toronto and other parts of southern Ontario have been walloped by this winter weather system. -11 in Timmins, -7 in Sudbury. Cool in Saskatchewan, Saskatoon at -14. Regina at -17 despite all that sunshine. -9 in Edmonton, -5 in Calgary, and a mix of sun and cloud in Vancouver, which is normal. One of the hot spots, 5 degrees in the country. Okay, dip into -6, as I mentioned tonight, with that chance of flurries carrying over, about a 40% chance tonight. And then tomorrow afternoon, not very warm, -5 degrees here in Ottawa by the afternoon hour. -7 in the Ottawa Valley, and more snow on the way for the Valley tonight with a low of -9. -4 and clearing conditions along the Seaway before they get through tonight's low of -5. You can see a bit of a break for tomorrow, albeit cold temperatures, and a chilly overnight low on Tuesday as well, -10. Take a look at Friday in the overnight hours, -15 is the low, and off and on flurries expected over the next 6 days once we get past our Monday. 30% chance on Tuesday and Wednesday, 60% on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You're going to want to get the shovels ready, have them handy, because it's going to be a snowy week. Well, the festive spirit was alive and well in the city's East End last night as the holiday parade season continues across the region. In Orleans at the 27th annual Santa's Parade of Lights, which traveled down St. Joseph Boulevard. Here's CTV's Camille Wilson.
Hundreds of children and families line St. Joseph Street to see the most famous guy this time of year. Some for the first time.
A very magical moment.
Merry Christmas.
Parents Allie and Nick James are excited to celebrate their twins' first Christmas and their first Christmas in Orleans.
It's actually our first one. We just bought a home in Orleans.
This is the 27th year of the Orleans Santa's Parade of Lights. Many are already getting into the Christmas spirit.
We do every year. It's such a great parade. Good to get the community together. We just love it.
Some families say this is their favorite part of the holiday season, building lasting memories.
This is like the kickoff for us to start up like everything. So now it's Christmas light shows and cotton candy and making cookies.
This is actually my first time, and I've wanted to go since I was their age, so I'm really excited.
Ottawa firefighters and volunteers were out along the parade route collecting cash donations and unwrapped gifts to support CTV and Move 100's toy mounting campaign.
I've been coming to this parade since I was a very little kid. My dad was on the job in the old days.
And nearly 70 floats with bands, dancers, school and community groups, old age homes coming together for the annual parade.
But it's the community that throws it, right? So we're just a small wheel, in a very big machine.
We love to be a part of the community.
We're dancing in the street, listening to the music, and waiting for Santa.
And when asked what's on the list to tell Santa,
Maybe a computer or something. A toaster. Insanity Nerf gun. Things in general. As long as I get a present, then I'm fine. Yeah, great. That's a good one. ATV, a PlayStation.
but more importantly for the James family.
Spending time with the family. Gonna be enjoying the little moments.
Camille Wilson, CTV News.
A blind Ontario man is encouraging other people with disabilities to fight back against employers if they feel they're being discriminated against in the workplace. It comes after a recent victory where he claims a company did not support his needs. CTV's Kamal Karamali has his story.
This is a Braille display.
This equipment, a Braille display, and software that reads what's on your computer screen is essential for Eric Burgraff to do most jobs, since he's completely blind. And that usually leads to a lot of rejection.
I applied for 40 jobs maybe, and just not getting any traction whatsoever.
But about 8 years ago, after interviewing with one company, a call center based in Ontario, he says he was directly told they couldn't accommodate his needs.
They committed to providing the tools for work. Then they left a voicemail on my phone and just said, we can't do it. And that was it.
Did you feel discriminated against?
Of course. Of course.
Now, the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario, in a recently published decision, has ordered the call center company to pay Burgraff $20,000 for injury to dignity and more than $8,000 for lost wages, finding that the decision not to hire the applicant as a result of his blindness is discriminatory. The Convergys call center used to be right here at this strip mall in Welland, Ontario, but shut down in 2018. Convergys then merging with another company to form Concentrix. When we reached out to Concentrix for comment for this story, they did not get back to us in time for our deadline. In the hearing, the employer had claimed the software that Burgraff needed was not compatible with its computer systems.
The unemployment rate facing Canadians with disabilities is not only a national crisis, it's a national shame.
In the bin that's now full of blocks?
For Burgraff and his family, it feels like a small victory.
The more people who speak up, the faster we can change the state of things.
And a chance to encourage other people with disabilities to push back against discrimination. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, St. Catharines, Ontario.
This is by far the most challenging thing that I've ever taken on.
Straight ahead, sailing amongst the stars. We will share details on a Canadian project that is set to explore the moon. Policy changes to education and immigration are hitting many universities hard right across Canada, leading to program cuts and service disruptions. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin explains the impact that is having on university and on campus life.
Budget cuts have hit hollowed halls of learning in Canada, striking several aspects of campus life.
A lot of us, we came here for the program, for the prestige of McGill University.
McGill University's announcement it would slash 24 varsity and competitive teams, including the historic and famed track and field program, sent a jolt through the sports world.
It's a world-class facility that we used time and time again. So yeah, it is a bit of a blow and a shock.
The university pointed to budget constraints as one of the factors, saying in a statement, simply put, our unit can no longer effectively manage or support the same number of activities while maintaining the standards of excellence expected at McGill. Several universities across the country struggle adjusting to policy changes for foreign students that drive down income from international tuition fees. Quebec's universities have also faced foreign student enrollment caps and an overhaul of tuition funding that took aim at English institutions. Concordia confirmed it spent $780,000 in legal fees to fight the changes, landing some wins. But the cash-strapped university announced several measures, including a hiring freeze and ending limited-time contracts for 63 faculty members.
There are better solutions that would better help the long-term success of Canadian universities.
English professor Stephen Yeager says this is a blow for staff and students.
But what if we tried to work together to look at the brass tacks fundamentals of the situation and try to improve it instead of just these knee-jerk, reactive, oh, well, let's just cut this mentality.
Universities have also said that governments essentially sent the message that foreign students are not welcomed here and that too is hurting finances. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
A group of researchers from Manitoba are aiming for the stars, or I guess more accurately in this case, the moon. CTV's Alex Carpa has their story as they look to build a satellite to accompany a Canadian spaceship making its way to the lunar object in our sky.
So this is a CubeSat.
This satellite may look small, but it carries some large aspirations.
This is by far the most challenging thing that I've ever taken on.
Philip Ferguson and his Starlab team at the University of Manitoba are developing a lunar exploration spacecraft called CubeSat, which will not only orbit the moon, but also send a device to the lunar surface to collect scientific data.
We're looking for different kinds of minerals that we could potentially use as fuel, or minerals that we could use to help support life on the moon as we practice to get ready for Martian colonizations.
This is the first time a Canadian spacecraft will leave Earth and go into lunar orbit. Andrew Bowman says this is a great opportunity for students like himself to work with industry leaders on important projects.
I'm a PhD student, but there are master's students and probably will be undergraduate students involved as well. So really getting all levels trained and qualified to help with all the future missions.
This satellite is scheduled to launch sometime in late 2027, but it's not just researchers working on this device. The university is co-developing this satellite with Indigenous groups and youth.
My experience as a child about my fascination of stars, and I know many of our kids are like that.
Some hope that kind of engagement will inspire the next generation.
Science and engineering is part of their culture and heritage, so we want to bring that and give them some exciting applications for today.
Ferguson believes this will be the first of many lunar missions led by Manitobans.
How can we use the moon in the future as a stepping stone to get to Mars?
It may be a small satellite for space, but Ferguson said it's certainly a giant leap forward for Canadian exploration of our closest celestial neighbor. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A day of remembrance at the Beechwood Cemetery, how families and friends are remembering loved ones through an annual event. Right after the break. The Bell Media building is lit up. It is bigger and brighter this year thanks to our friends at Christmas Decor from Nutrilon. It's that time of the show where we want to tell you a little bit about some stories that you need to know right now. And to help us with this, CTV's Kimberly Fowler joins us at the desk.
Well, thank you, Austin. Yes, it was a very somber day at Beechwood Cemetery. Bereaved Families of Ontario held its annual Candlelight remembrance event in the capital this afternoon.
Caitlin Morrison, daughter of Canadian journalist Keith Morrison and sister of actor Matthew Perry, was the guest speaker for today's event. Morrison spoke about her grief journey after the death of her brother and his legacy, building the Matthew Perry House here in Ottawa that supports individuals on their recovery from addiction and mental health challenges. And everyone was invited to the Science and Technology Museum today to get on board the Santa Holiday Train. It's a free event put on by the museum to meet Santa and enjoy the festive train ride around the museum grounds with the Bytown Railway Society. And if you missed it, the train will be back next Saturday for a fundraiser in support of CHEO, and that's on from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m.
On the delay of game, Hellier down in front, scores!
And the Ottawa Black Bears kicked off their second season in the National Lacrosse League last night. The Bears welcomed the San Diego Seals to the Canadian Tire Centre, but they didn't get the start that they wanted. A couple of comebacks in the second and the fourth quarters. The Black Bears fall 16-13 to the Seals. Ottawa's off next week, but they're back at home for Week 3 action against the Saskatchewan Rush on December 12th.
Ali Ahmed. That's a beautiful move on Pilcher. Ahmed continues on, works it across, and it's in the back of the net again. Brian White, and Vancouver gets the lead to 3 before the halftime interval.
And the Vancouver Whitecaps will compete for the MLS Cup next week after beating San Diego FC last night in their Western Conference final. The Caps won 3-1 thanks to a brace from striker Brian White and a San Diego own goal. They'll take on a star-studded Inter Miami team on Saturday. Now, both the Whitecaps and Inter Milan, they're playing in their, Inter Miami, that is, they're playing in their first MLS Cup. And the final will also see rivals Lionel Messi and Thomas Muller square off. Again, the final gets underway again Saturday afternoon at Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, and that all starts at 2:30.
It's very cool to see, and big for Canada as well. Toronto was the only Canadian team to ever win an MLS title. That was in 2017.
Yeah,
so
I remember watching that game. I was at a 1-year-old's birthday party, and we're all gathered around the TV watching. It was a good time.
That sounds like a barn burner. 1-year-old birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
Real party. Coming up, celebrating the incredible life of a zoo legend, the Galapagos Island tortoise, who lived to be over 140 years old. Before we go to break, here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. It is still 0.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's a recap of the top local stories we're following right now.
It's going to cost a fortune, and, if it doesn't work out, we're on the hook.
Some skepticism as work is set to begin this week on the controversial Lansdowne 2.0 plan. The city says there are no planned detours or road closures for the first phase of construction. The Ottawa Redblacks giving fans a chance to pick up pieces of CFL history, selling some game-worn gear in the team's annual locker room sale.
It's a magic. It's like a Hallmark movie, the whole time you're there.
Plus, capping off November and ringing in December as Christmas market season is in full swing right across Ottawa. We take you to some of the most popular local shopping stops for that season. And of course, that means that the weather, unfortunately, is turning for the worse. We got a lot of snow out there. A lot of people like it. Maddie, our floater, loves the snow. I was debating it with her earlier today. Waking up to -6 and relatively clear conditions expected, but then we're getting right back to snowy conditions on Tuesday. 30% chance of flurries into Wednesday, 60% on Thursday and Friday. Look at the low on Friday as well, -15 degrees, -13 is the low on Sunday. Very cool. Means obviously it's time to get out there for skates as some of the rinks start to open up. That's at least one of these positives.
Yeah, I'm going to bust out my skates. I bought them 2 years ago, and I've only used them once since I've been here.
It's about that time. And staying on that on that beat. What are you working on tonight?
Well, more skating, hockey. We'll be watching a lot of it tonight. Both the Senators and the 67s, they're playing this evening. The Sens are looking to bounce back from Friday's 4-3 loss. They're in Dallas right now. They're currently heading into the second period against the Stars. And the 67s, they're going for back-to-back wins at home this weekend. They face off against the North Bay Battalion in about 10 minutes or so, and we'll have a recap of both of those games. And you can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca, and join me tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
Thank you for that. We will be watching those games. And finally for us tonight, one of the first Galapagos tortoises to arrive at the San Diego Zoo has sadly passed away.
Yes, but not too bad. It's a silver lining. She had a long, long life, living to about 141 years.
Yeah, so named Grandma, the reptile arrived at the legendary zoo between 1928 and 1931. Not exactly sure. Thought to be in her 40s at the time of her arrival. Over the course of her life, she's witnessed 25 U.S. presidents and was known as the queen of the zoo. The average lifespan, about 100 to 150 years for these animals. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Good night, everybody.